We all make more than 35,000 decisions a day. Most are small, but some can be life-changing.
When it comes to taking care of yourself, the most important choices can be hard to make. Like having a tough conversation instead of ignoring a buddy's call.
Or being there for support, not assuming things will just get better.
Or fighting through challenges rather than giving up.
And while we all face thousands of choices every day, there's one that can make all the difference. Today, make the decision to be there. For the veterans in your life, for your community, for yourself. Learn more at BeThereForVeterans.com.
Hello and welcome again to Oscar Mike Radio. I'm the host, Travis. I'm joined by my ride or die, Danielle Rocco of Devoted to a Soldier. Together we are Devoted Mission, and this is all part of the Operation TP Pyramid put on by Brian Walker, the state commander of the VFW for Tennessee. And part of this whole event, returning back to Oscar Mike Radio and Devoted to a Soldier, is Savannah Rae. Savannah, welcome.
Hi, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Danny, I mean, it was just like yesterday that we were both talking with Savannah, right?
I know. It does feel like yesterday, and I feel like it was not yesterday. It was probably in reality, like, what, a year ago, 8 months ago?
Something like that. Yeah, it's been a few months for sure.
But time flies when you're having fun, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the last time we talked, I mean, Danny and I talked, we were like, you know, you're dealing with COVID, you're getting back there on the road and touring again. What's been up musically with Savannah? Danny's dying to know.
Yeah, I mean, I've been again in the studio just working away, getting a bunch of songs kind of underneath my belt here, hopefully to release within the next couple of months, and then just booking as many shows as possible. You know, with COVID and everything, it was so difficult to play any sort of shows, and now that everything's kind of coming back, I'm just really trying to fill up, you know, my roster of shows. I think we were in Florida like 3 weeks ago. We did a whole Nashville stint for a little bit, did Texas, and then we just did Arkansas too. We're just kind of going all over the place as far as my shows are concerned, and I got a lot on the horizon that I'm really looking forward to, like different festivals and such, opening up for people like Jason Aldean, which is going to be really, really exciting. I just got word today that former President Trump is actually asking me to sing the national anthem at one of his, I don't even really know what to call it, just one of his events. So that's very, very exciting.
Wow. That is I love how you're like, don't even know how many states you're in. That means you're a busy lady, and you got some big things going on. That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's it's been a blast. It's been very tiring, to say the least. This is like my first true off day that I've had in about 3 weeks of nonstop traveling. And so it hasn't even been an off day. I've just been running around doing errands. But, first real off day where I don't have to do anything, no recording sessions, no writing sessions, no gigs or whatever. So I'm like, wow, get a little bit of time to sit down for a second.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, you had talked about this, the last time we all talked about how you're hoping as COVID wound down, you were able to re-engage with your audience and fans and play new things. And it looks like you just, stomped the accelerator and never looked back. I mean, it must be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of always the goal, just to, as soon as things kind of opened back up, kind of got back to somewhat normal, that just to hit the ground running as fast as we can, just to getting shows under my belt and getting some new songs out. So it's been a blast for sure, for sure.
And when you say new songs, now, is there a theme with these new songs? Is love the common theme, Savannah? I don't know. I mean, what's the theme?
I would say I'm not the greatest writer of love songs. It's just not my forte. But they're from, I have a lot of angst in my songs. I'm very country rock, especially with the newer stuff coming out. I'm very edgy, very kind of Miranda Lambert, a little Gretchen Wilson-esque. If you ever heard of a guy named Co Wetzel, I'm kind of like a female version of him. But there's still, that classic country every so often with, the pedal steel and everything. Like George Strait is one of my favorite artists, and Clint Black as well. So it's country with a little bit of edge. So I tend to write about more edgy subjects, I would say. Love is maybe like one or two. Maybe like one or two, but
Travis, she's a woman of your own heart.
Well, I mean, are you going to forgive me, Savannah? I didn't know at one time who Jason Aldean was, and I have absolutely no idea. I think I've heard Miranda Lambert, but I have no idea who. I just don't know. I'm a metal guy. It just is, but I'm learning. I'm learning. So, but yeah, there is some angst with love, right, Savannah? I mean, is it all just, it's not all rainbows and unicorns, right?
no, it isn't. And even not just any sort of romantic relationships. You could have your friendships, any just platonic relationships, acquaintances per se that I could write about as well. And so I write a lot of just about different relationships in my life that maybe have gone a bit sour. And so that's a lot of my writing for sure, but it's been a blast to be able to express myself creatively in that way. And everyone that's around me, at least on my team, my production and all that, they really, really like the direction that the music is going. It's very organic instrumentation, very guitar heavy, very guitar based. I think every single one of my songs has a guitar solo in it. Like I wanted to make sure that edge, that country edge, is always there.
Because you play the guitar very well. I mean, I remember you playing. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I try. I try
Well,
my best.
well, I mean, it's just, we had talked before, and some artists like performing, some artists don't sing with an instrument, some do, but a lot of times you're playing along with your own songs. I mean, is that something
Right.
you enjoy doing?
Yeah, I think I'm 99% of the time playing guitar on all of my own songs, especially live shows, because live shows is my thing. I love the studio, I love writing, I love that creative part of this, the side, but live shows are my thing. That's what I love. That's my bread and butter. I love touring. I always say that if I could be on the road every single day, I totally would. It's a little tiring, but I totally would. It's just my favorite thing in the entire world. So I try to put as much interesting something, something to look at least on stage when I'm performing. Because I mean, I am up there with, say, four other people in my band, four other guys in my band, but I guess it is Savannah Rae. So I try to do just a little something interesting, bring guitar out every so often. So
Is it the energy you get from the live crowd you like? Is it seeing the countryside and meeting the people as you're going? Like, what is it about the road?
yeah, I mean, I have always been a traveler. I've been traveling since I came out the womb, pretty much. My dad had a job and still has that same job that he doesn't travel as much, but he used to travel all the time, and he's in the medical device field, and he used to travel all the time. And so my mom and I went with him, and I think by the time I was I don't know, maybe 18, I had already lived in 15 different states. And so we are travelers and I'm used to it. I love it. And being able to incorporate the traveling aspect with my music is just my favorite thing in the entire world. And I mean, I was in Arkansas the other day and it was nice to get there and then go and kind of explore kind of downtown. Hot Springs is where we were.
Okay.
Kind of go explore, kind of see, the sights, meet some of the people down there and then go play a show at night. Like that's just so fun. It's so awesome. It's cool to see, different places that I've never been. And I have about 6 states I think left to go in my 50 states. So we're trying to knock those out this year. But I mean, it's just a blast, being able to travel and also do what I love at the same time.
That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
So you're doing this, and and you're dealing with all the stuff with COVID, and you're feeding the energy from the crowd. I guess my next question would be is, what's it like going back to a place you've already been, where people have already heard you before and they've come out to see you again?
Yeah, I mean, I went back to my hometown about 2-ish weeks ago, and I'm from San Antonio, and so I went back there to play a few shows, and it's just so nice to see not only family members and friends that I have come out, but people that may follow me on Instagram, people that know me from social media, know my music, from Spotify and all that, seeing them come out and seeing them, know me, know who I am, number one, but also knowing the words to my songs and kind of seeing them sing it back to me, which is just super cool. And I think it's just cool for any songwriter and any artist just to see people really relate to the music that you're putting out so much that they've listened to it multiple times, to know those words, to know your song just like you know it. So I think that's one of the coolest things for sure.
So it sounds like, she leads with love, Danielle, in her purpose.
I think so. Living your truth. Might not be romantic love songs, not her jam, but the rest of it is.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
So speaking of love and purpose, this is a theme that Danielle's really
Right.
encouraging me to embrace, Savannah. I mean, she's encouraging me to embrace this. I'm trying.
With a heavy hand.
I got a thick skull, man. What can I say? But
It happens.
you're going to participate in an event where it's more than just a concert, right? This Operation TP Pyramid, this Tennessee donation fund that the state commanders put up. We're just curious, how did you get involved with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much how I get involved with anything ever is someone knows someone that knows someone and said, "Hey, would you like to play here?" And I go, "Of course." So pretty much how I get involved with everything. My manager, Paula Ann, is always constantly reaching out to people and, trying to get us connected and, working with the military and veterans has always been such a big part of what I do. So we just thought that this was absolutely perfect for me to kind of throw my hat in the ring for.
Smart chicken.
Well, it's a lot of times you hear that, younger people, don't really appreciate the military. Younger people don't care.
Right.
But, we have used an example of giving of your time. You could plan the gig somewhere else, but here you are at a VFW with, a lot of veterans like myself there, and Danielle's a mother of a veteran. And you're doing this. I mean, what's going through your mind as you're getting ready to perform like this?
Yeah, I mean, number one, I just want to do a good job so that, someone out there is entertained, someone out there, especially with some of the songs I sing, like kind of gets the message. And then I always, midway through my set, I always do a toast, to all of my military and my veterans out there, just, thanking them for the sacrifices that they have, placed upon us to be able to even have concerts like this in the first place. And so I do that at every single one of my shows. And I think a lot of people really, really appreciate it because, like you said, younger people like me, there's a lot of people out there that just don't really appreciate the military like they should, which is unfortunate, but it is the way of the world. But I think that just kind of bringing myself and my music and, my kind of show like, hey, this is what's going on in the world, outside of your cell phone, and so kind of brings a little bit more attention, I think, to it as well. And so it's just very important to me and always has been. So as much attention as I can give to, the military and anybody like that, that has served is a plus in my opinion. But just, as far as this show coming up, I'm just really excited to get out there and hopefully sing some people's favorite songs. Hopefully, connect with some people on that music level, because I think music is for sure a universal language that doesn't matter what language you speak. Music is, pretty universal. So
Awesome, awesome. So Danielle, this is for you. We talk to a lot of artists and a lot of people. It's different talking over, a Zoom or Skype session than meeting them in person. I mean, what are you thinking about as you realize we're going to get to meet Savannah for the first time ever?
I know, I always get so fun, and excited about that, because I feel, even though it's Zoom, I always feel like I've met you twice, so I kind of know you a little bit. But then when you see them in person and you feel the energy, because you can't really feel the energy through the phone. You got to get a little bit. I think I think we're gonna have some good times. I'm excited to see the flash and see, here in the live.
So
I'll try to wear something sparkly.
I'll
wear something sparkly.
Well, I have to introduce her, right? You're gonna want me to introduce her, right, Danielle?
Yeah, of course. I mean, what the heck? Yeah.
And now introducing Savannah Rae. I'll work on it, Savannah. I'll work on it.
Perfect. It's already perfect.
Really. I am not perfect, Savannah, but that coming from you, that's a big compliment.
He does have a voice of an angel, you have to admit. Come on. His voice is pretty darn good. Yeah,
I mean, it really is. It's very calming, very relaxing. You have a very nice tone to your voice. I'm not sure how to describe it, but it's just it's nice to listen to.
You're making me
like
blush,
a big,
Savannah.
lovable teddy bear that you just want to fill up with.
You're making me blush, Danielle. Stop it. So Savannah Rae, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be at Operation TP Pyramid and this Tennessee, volunteer foundation, the state commander, Brian Walker, is putting this on. Savannah is into this because of Paula Ann, and thank you, Paula, for, connecting us. Really appreciate it. And I'll have all the links to Savannah's stuff in the show post, so you guys can check out her Instagram and get in the know about what she's doing. I've learned a lot about country music. But now, if I could, Savannah, see, folks, the last time we talked, we got to the end of the thing. We're doing our thing. We're doing our jam. We're vibing, Danielle. And Savannah just quietly drops the fact that, oh, yeah, I'm a member of the Daughters of the Republic of Texas. And I'm like, what? First of all, I felt like I was a schlub because I didn't know that beforehand. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I knew all about them because where I live in Shreveport, Savannah, it's only 8 miles from the Texas border. And when you drive from Louisiana into Texas, you can tell how on I-20 because the roads get better. How about that?
Yep. Oh, yeah. I just did that drive and I was like, oh, man.
Right. Okay. So she just calmly, and I'm like, that goes back to the Alamo and all that stuff. And she's like, yeah. So if you don't mind, Savannah, I kind of want to dig into this because there's all kinds of stuff going on. Yeah. First of all, what's it like to be, because I lived down there, but tell people who aren't Texans, what's it like to be a Texan?
It is it really is like a personality trait. It's I always say that when you first meet somebody that if you don't know they're from Texas, they'll tell you within 5 seconds of meeting you, I'm from Texas, because we're just very honored and privileged to come from such a state, just because, Texas is kind of its own thing. It really is. It's kind of its own little country. If we seceded from the rest of the United States, we could literally be self-sufficient. That's how, Texas is. And just we have such state pride. I have never lived in another place, and I mean, I'm from Texas, but like I said, I've lived in 15 different states before, so I've never been to and never lived in another state such as Texas. And how much state pride there is, it's just no other state has it. They really don't. I'm sorry. Any other state can get mad at me, but like Texas people, we're very proud to be from where we're from.
What kind of love is that, Danielle?
That's like love to your bones. That's, don't mess with you kind of love.
Yep, don't mess with Texas.
So,
that is one of our logo or mottos per se. So
well, speaking of mess with, I have to bring this up because I did some homework this time because I wanted to be more prepared. I thought I was pre-prepared last time. And there's this thing going on with the Alamo. Now, we talked about this last time. When I went to the Alamo as a kid with my dad and my family, I thought this was this big, huge complex. It's not.
it's tiny.
But the Alamo is like hallowed ground.
Right.
Like people have fist fights if you disrespect the Alamo.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I have to ask this. I'm reading and the Alamo's being like renovated and redone.
Uh-huh.
And George P. Bush is doing it, and which struck me as odd at first because I'm like, wait a minute, that's the purview of the Daughters of the Republic. And then I started reading that he has brought in, first of all, he said he didn't like what you all were doing and he's taken it over. And then the real problems began when he wanted to bring in an outside, entity to work on the Alamo. Like people are getting upset about this. I was hoping you could shed some light on this because I'm like, I didn't think that could happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think renovations is a bit of a subjective word. I think that there's a certain point to where, like, historically preserving something for generations to come, I think that that's, kind of what needs to be done versus any sort of renovations, any sort of, changing of anything going on because it's the Alamo,
Right.
it needs to stay how it is, but, preserve it in a way of such when people preserve paintings, they go in there, they make it all pretty, make it all cleaned up, make it look kind of like brand new when it was first originally painted, and it'll look brand new for 200 more years until someone else needs to go back in and, re-preserve things. But I think there's a big difference between restoration and historical preservation. But also, I mean, somebody coming in to the Daughters of the Republic, it's pretty much an all-woman kind of group thing going on. For a man to come in there and be like, no, this is what we're going to do, I think that probably really I'm not going to use
some
the right word,
feathers. I mean, it ruffles some feathers. I mean,
yeah, it ruffled some feathers for sure because I mean, we're the Daughters of the Republic. We've been around for years and years and years and years, and we just, at the end of the day, I think what we were created for is to preserve Texas tradition and preserve the integrity of Texas, and just for somebody kind of out of that loop to come in there and try to start changing things for sure ruffles feathers for sure.
Well, I mean, there was that, and then the last article I read, I think it's the Houston Chronicle or I forget it was the Houston Chronicle, I think, where he wanted to bring in an outside company to work on the Alamo, and I'm like, that's when, I mean, I know as it hit the news feed, I mean, that's sacrilege, Savannah. That's
I mean, if you're gonna, I just hire somebody, in state, hire somebody, that's gonna represent Texas, and no one can represent Texas better than people from Texas, so it's I don't know, it's just kind of weird, and it certainly put a damper on a lot of that over there, so it's that's certainly an issue.
So Danielle, you're listening to this and you realize that you start peeling back the layers here, and Savannah is very heavily involved with this. I mean, as a woman, I mean, how do you feel about this? And as someone who believes in living your truth and purpose, she's more than just a singer.
Well, right. Everybody's more than just what they look like on the outside. But I think she is very kind with her words about this. So kudos for that. But yeah, I mean, you can stand up and in a very nice and respectful way, which Savannah Rae is doing.
Yeah.
And get things done and make a point of what your opinion is without, throwing what is the saying that you say in Texas? I don't know, throwing down, or there's got to be something better than that. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to come out guns blazing, because if you come
there
out
we
guns
go.
blazing, then no one will take you seriously, you know? So it's
Right.
like, well, be respectful always.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
because if I respect somebody, I expect that same respect back, you know?
Yeah.
So just,
It-
it's a two-way street, I think is what it is. So.
Yeah, just to go back, I mean, I remember seeing it, and as a kid, I'm like, in the history books, I thought this was like a big, huge complex, and it's not.
It's
But
so small. Yeah. I mean, really, they do make it seem larger than life, and in a way it is, but also physically it is a very small place. Going there as a child, they just pump it up to it's the Alamo. And you're like, okay, great. And so you get there and it's like 2 rooms. I'm like, oh, all right. But I mean,
I just want to find out more about it. And to Danielle's point, you were very respectful, but it didn't take a scientist to see that you want the direction to go a little bit differently. And so, I think one of the things that I liked about your story is you're heavily involved in this organization that has been around for 100 plus years
right.
and has been involved in every facet of what it means to be a Texan. And I can tell you from living up here in New England that people here talk like they're, all big and bad, but I'm like, you meet a Texan, a real Texan, it, and it's something different. So I just appreciate you sharing that with me. And, we're here with Savannah Rae and my ride or die, Danielle Rocco, devoted to the soldier. Savannah Rae is going to be performing at Operation TP Pyramid April 9th in Collierville, Tennessee. And she's part of this overall fundraising effort to give back to the community. And as I close this out, I think, I definitely know Danielle want to talk about this. What's it like to know that you perform and make people happy, perform and give people some joy in life, but you're performing on this day in April is going to help enrich somebody else's life in a real way. What's that like to you?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I mean, that's pretty much all I can ever hope, is that even when I'm just writing songs, I write songs pretty much for myself. It's like I'm writing down what I'm going through, but if somebody else kind of sees themselves in a song or kind of relates to it, whatever that may be, touches their heart, whatever that may be, that's just everything as a songwriter. If I can give somebody an ounce of a feeling, then I'm like, all right, I did my job, whatever that may be. But and then also just performing, I mean, at the end of the day, I am trying to entertain people, and so I hope that I do a good job at that, because that's what I'm there for. I'm there to entertain people, to sing their favorite songs, to sing songs that they've never heard before, to bring a smile hopefully to people's faces, and just kind of, I mean, that's why I love going to concerts. At the end of the day, I am a country music fan. I'm not just country music singer, I'm not just country music songwriter, I'm a country music fan, and I go to concerts to just escape for a little bit and just watch some music, because like I said before, music is just like that universal language that everybody speaks. And so just I hope to maybe give people a little bit of what I feel whenever I go to a concert. So fingers crossed.
Like I don't know about Danielle. I have no doubt. I'm gonna immerse myself in the country culture for a weekend. It's gonna be great. And Danielle's gonna be like one step closer. We got him one step closer.
Yeah. Well, you've got some good people to immerse yourself in.
Absolutely. Well, Savannah, we want you to enjoy this break you're having right now. Thank you so much for coming on talking with us. Really appreciate it.
Thank y'all so much for having me. I can't wait to see everybody.
Absolutely. And that's going to be at April 9th in Collierville at the VFW. We're going to be mission in flight. We're going to be devoted. We're going to be devoted mission. That's how we roll. That's how we do this. So as we say here, thank you very much. And Savannah, I can't wait to meet you in person.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
See you soon.
And we are out. I want to thank you for joining me and watching Oscar Mike Radio. Now go to OscarMikeRadio.com and click shop to check out all the cool merchandise from Authentically American. All proceeds go to Veteran Service Organizations. We are mission in flight.